Hey everyone, today I'm gonna be making these no-cook summer recipes that are perfect when it gets way too hot outside and you can't turn on your oven. These are all super light recipes filled with lots of fresh summer veggies, so let's just get started. For recipe number 1, I'm gonna be making lettuce leaf tacos with my favorite no-cook, high-protein pea walnut chorizo. I've shared this chorizo recipe in one of my previous videos, and it is just one of my favorite toppings to put on salads or make tacos out of like this. It's really easy to throw in a food processor, and you don't need to cook anything, so I'll show you how to make it.
So I don't eat meat, as you guys probably know, but I still like to get in protein at each meal, especially because I've been lifting weights and exercising more lately, so I've been really prioritizing finding ways to add more protein into my recipes. So for this first recipe, I'm using my plant crumbles. These are unseasoned textured pea protein made out of organic yellow peas. I absolutely love this stuff. I'm so glad I've discovered it. This is not sponsored, but it adds 18 grams of protein per serving. But if you don't want to use these, you can also sub lentils or kidney beans.
So first we have to rehydrate the pea protein crumbles. So I'm just soaking 1 cup of the pea crumbles in veggie broth.
Whoopsie.
And I know this is supposed to be no cook, but I promise this is like the only cooking that there is. I'm also gonna rehydrate 1/2 cup of sun-dried tomatoes in boiling water, and this is gonna make them nice and soft and able to blend up better. After 4 or 5 minutes, drain out the pea crumbles and the sun-dried tomatoes, and I'm saving this broth for later because I didn't want it to go to waste. Broth is expensive, you know. Then to our food processor, add 3/4 cup of walnuts, the softened sun-dried tomatoes, the rehydrated pea crumbles, 1 tablespoon of taco seasoning. The one I'm using is a low sodium one, but you could use any taco seasoning you like, a teaspoon of fennel seed, a sprinkle of cayenne, and 1 teaspoon of chili powder. And then pulse that all together until it's all combined to this crumbly texture.
Oh yes, it's great. You definitely don't want to blend it up too much. You want it to be this like crumbly texture.
Then we can assemble our tacos. I'm using romaine lettuce for the taco shells, so scoop on some of the pea rizo mixture. Then for my taco toppings, I'm using some sweet corn, some chopped onion and tomato.
Look at this adorable teeny tiny avocado. The farmer's market near me sells these for 50 cents. Oh my gosh, it's so tiny.
And this is a super quick and easy cashew crema that I made using this goat-style non-dairy cheese that I bought at Whole Foods. This is one of my favorite non-dairy cheeses because it's basically only made out of cashews. So just take a scoop of that, and then I thinned it out with some water and a splash of lemon juice to make it a little bit more tangy. And you have a 2-second non-dairy cream sauce to use.
Put a dollop on there. Drizzle this on. This is looking so good. Then, if you really want to spice it up, this smoky salsa from Trader Joe's is really good. Little drizzle on each one. And the best thing about this recipe is you can eat like 10 of these because they're so low calorie. You can just scarf them down, you know?
That's what we like.
We like mass quantities. Cheers.
Cheers.
Pretty freaking good.
Pretty freaking good.
That salsa with the cashew sour cream, really good combination. Surprisingly bomb. Unexpectedly bomb. Someone in the comments was like, would Colin say anything is bad? Because, or they were like, would Colin eat? They said something like that. Alright, well, I'll see you guys tomorrow for recipe number 2.
Spicy.
Recipe number 2 is going to be my chickpea tuna salad wraps. I already have a recipe video on this for how to make this in the Instant Pot, but this version is going to be using canned chickpeas. Start out by draining 2 cans of chickpeas. I like to do lower sodium ones, and make sure you save the chickpea liquid so that we can add it back in later. For the veggies in the chickpea salad, I'm using 1 shallot diced up.
Oh, I just got a waft of onion in the eye.
3 stalks of celery diced up. And you need about 1/4 cup of diced pickles.
These tiny pickles are the best pickles to ever exist. So crunchy.
To a large mixing bowl, add in your drained chickpeas, and you want to mash these up so they get broken apart a little bit, but not so they're like completely mush like mashed potatoes. It should look like this when you're done. Then I'm adding 1/3 cup of tahini. You could use any other nut butter you want, but just make sure it's kind of runny like this. 2 tablespoons of pickle juice, 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard, and add in all of the veggies that we chopped up, along with some black pepper, and then mix this all up to combine it together.
So see how it's really thick right now? Use the reserved chickpea liquid to thin it out until it's the consistency you want. If you want it to taste a little reminiscent of tuna, you can add in furikake seasoning or dulse flakes or nori flakes. This is gonna give it like a faint hint of the ocean. And mix it up again. Oh, this is actually looking so good. You can also eat this with crackers, like as a dip, a tuna dip. You know what? I'm going camping next week and I might just bring this camping with me so that we can make wraps for our hikes. It is such a quick and easy lunch to throw together. Oh my gosh, it is so creamy. Look at how good this looks. I'm using some of my homemade red pepper hummus as the spread. Put down some lettuce. This is also just really good wrapped up in lettuce, so you could make lettuce cups out of these, or you could eat it as a dip with chips. Really good.
Okay, this is totally optional, but I love when the outside of the tortilla is nice and toasty, so I just heated it up on my cast iron skillet for like 3 minutes. These are the Ezekiel bread wraps, so they taste better when they're a little bit warmed up. And this is how my tuna salad wraps turned out. This recipe is seriously one of my favorites. It's super creamy and has so much good flavor, and then the veggies are nice and crunchy in there. And it makes a super easy lunch. I packed these on our hiking trip to the Grand Canyon, and they were perfect as a packed lunch.
So good. This is just amazing. It's kind of making a mess, but such an easy recipe with so much flavor. All right, let's start making the next recipe.
For the last recipe, I'm gonna be making these pesto zucchini noodles, which is the perfect summer recipe. Zucchinis are such a summertime vegetable, and this recipe is super light and flavorful, so I'll show you how to make it.
Since I'm making zucchini noodles in my next recipe, let's go out to the garden and see if there's any zucchinis to pick. Actually, I do know there's one because that's why I'm making this recipe, so let's go get it.
I knew I had this big one in here, and that's why I wanted to make this recipe. I've been waiting to pick this one. It's beautiful. I just picked one the other day, and sadly, that's it. That's all there is. I've got 2 zucchinis so far. I know there's basil in here somewhere. Well, here is today's harvest. I have my zucchini and all this basil to make my avocado pesto.
So for my zoodles, I have a spiralizer, but it's so bulky and takes up so much room. You can just use a julienne peeler to get your zucchini noodles. This takes up way less space and it's so easy. You just peel downwards and it makes these perfect strips. And that's why I think it's best if you have a longer zucchini so that you can get longer spaghetti strips. Then I just rotate it and do the other side. And here's all of our zucchini noodles. It works so good. For the pesto for my zoodles, I'm gonna use avocado to make like a creamy pesto sauce. This is such like a raw vegan recipe. I feel like a lot of raw vegans make this. First, we're gonna add some avocado to our food processor. along with the juice of 1 lemon, plus we're gonna use the zest. This is a half a lemon, but it's like a giant lemon, so I think it's equivalent to 1 normal size lemon. I'm gonna zest this half. I feel like lemon zest does add so much good flavor. Whenever you're adding lemon, if you add some of the zest, it makes it taste so good. 2 cloves of garlic. This is my secret ingredient, totally optional, but as I said at the beginning, I'm always looking for ways to like add more protein into my recipes, because a lot of vegan recipes are just like so much like carbs and fats, and I only really started caring about that recently when I started weightlifting and started paying attention to more like vegan athletes. I'm gonna add a little bit of tofu into the sauce, and it's gonna blend up and add extra protein, and you're barely gonna be able to taste it, but this is totally optional if like tofu's not your thing. And this is soft tofu. I'm also gonna add a couple tablespoons of nutritional yeast, and I'm gonna blend this up first so it's nice and creamy. That's looking nice and smooth. I'm gonna go ahead and add in the basil. This is 1 cup of packed basil. And I like there to be like a little bit of basil flakes. I don't like it when it's like totally smooth. And I'm gonna add a little pinch of salt. You could just leave this out if you wanna make it a salt-free recipe. So let's blend this up again. Oh my gosh, it looks so creamy. Let's taste it. Mmm. Oh my gosh, so good. Wow. Look how creamy it is. It looks amazing. Pour in our sauce. And let's toss this all together. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And serve up our zoodles. Top it off, I'm gonna use some of this non-dairy Parmesan cheese, a little sprinkle. This is my pea riso crumbles that we made in the first recipe. And I diced up some cherry tomatoes. This looks like something you would get at a raw vegan restaurant. And I'm gonna top it off with some black pepper. But I'm almost out. There's like 1, oh, that was the last one. Let's try our masterpiece. It looks so good. Mmm, it is really good. Super light. This is perfect for summer. It's so creamy, and you can really taste the garlic and lemon in the pesto. It is really good. This is pretty much like a salad. Like, it's like raw vegetables. It's like a salad in another form. And the crumbles on top are so good. Well, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me for these no-cook summer recipes. They all came out super good. I'm honestly shocked. I didn't think these were gonna be like as good as they were. So let me know if you try out these recipes, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!